Hey everyone, Victor here. So maybe you've been a freelancer for a while, maybe you're just starting off as a freelancer. I wanted to make a course that will really go over one of the core things in freelancing, which is how to scope a project. That comes to scoping a project for clients and also scoping a project internally. So when you start off as a freelancer, a lot of time the first worry that you have is how to get clients. Then you get a client, and then the next thing you have to worry about is how do I properly give a good budget? How do I give a good timeline? How do I know what's reasonable? How do I break this down for myself? Can I actually do the project? So we're going to talk a lot about those things. We're going to talk about how to talk to clients, how to make them feel confident in you, how you can feel confident in yourself when you're scoping a project. We're going to go over all that in this little mini course. So who am I? If you don't know me, I'm Victor. I'm the founder of Mapster and also of Nativeland. I have about a dozen years experience as a freelancer working from the trenches of just any random project you can get up to working on quite complex projects as a senior developer. My niche in the past 5 or 6 years has mainly been mapping, and that's been very successful for me. I've worked on hundreds of different web projects across the gamut. And I have a couple courses on Udemy, and I'm working on this little YouTube channel. I love teaching freelancers. I love helping people be independent, helping people learn and feel great about themselves. So I really welcome any comments or thoughts or other courses you might want to have. When we talk about scoping, what are some of the common issues? So if you've ever faced some of these issues, this course is probably going to help you out in some way. So sometimes people have a real difficulty providing a clear budget or a range of prices to clients for different services or for a specific custom project that a client gives you. Having scope creep, so having difficulty keeping a project within its bounds when the client starts to add more details on it, and that leading to burnout or kind of resentment of the client or losing your profit because the project takes way too long. Client management in general, when it comes to client expectations versus reality. If you have some trouble communicating to the client like what's possible and what's not, and there ends up being this miscommunication down the road, that's another good reason why this course may help. Setting good timelines, this is a lot related to budgets, but having flexible timelines that can fit with what the client needs, but also is reasonable for a development schedule. This can be a real difficult thing for freelancers. Not being aware of roadblocks. Now, this is something that's going to come up as a freelancer regardless of your expertise, because there's always going to be things you didn't expect. But as you gain experience and through something like this course, you should be able to predict the major areas where roadblocks are common to occur and be able to communicate that to the client. Finally, lack of confidence. If you've had a lack of confidence when speaking to clients, especially when your first time speaking to them or when they're asking for budgets, this course will really help you nail some of the issues, have a framework to work with, and be able to hit that with a great deal of confidence. So the goals of the course are really so that you can have the experience of having 10 or 15 minutes with a client, having them tell you your project, and they come away feeling like you totally understand, like you've got this handled. And even if you don't know every single detail, they're confident that you'll be able to figure it out. And for you to feel the same way, that like a project may be a challenge, but you're going to be able to do it. That's the ultimate goal. Now, in some specifics, we're going to talk about phased approaches. We're going to talk about how to budget flexibly, how to deal with some of those elements of client management, how to help pick what tech you're going to need for a job. This is a slightly more technical element of the course. We're not going to get into really deep specifics, but at least broad strokes of how to pick what technology you might want, how to estimate timelines and give a bit of space on that, and ultimately how to communicate to clients with some confidence when it comes to scoping their project for them. You can see here the table of contents. Now the first part of it we're kind of doing in this early video, but you can see there's phased approaches. We're going to talk about how to define requirements, budgets, timelines. We're going to talk about data, administration, user experience, back-end versus front-end, and just architecture as a concept. So we're just going to fly through a lot of different concepts, and I'm hoping to make this about 5 videos, which should cover everything. We are going to be mainly talking about web projects. However, I think that this especially the first half of this course, is broadly applicable in the sense that it doesn't really matter what type of project you're working on. You're still going to have similar issues when it comes to budgeting, scoping, timelines, and communicating with clients. So I think you'll gain something regardless, because I believe that the most important skill as a freelancer isn't your specific technical set of abilities, it's your ability to talk to clients and manage clients. If you can't manage clients, even if you're a great programmer, you're going to have a lot of trouble freelancing. Meanwhile, even if you're not that great a programmer, but you have a really great ability to manage and talk with clients, you're going to be able to get jobs, handle jobs, and you can find someone who's a great programmer. So being able to handle and manage clients will see you through many shifts in technology over time. So I'd recommend working on that as one of your top skills. So we're going to have a few example projects that we're going to talk about throughout this course. We're going to use them kind of as examples to bounce off of when we're talking about specific concepts. So our example projects, we're going to have 4 of them. The first one is a guy comes to you, he's got a warehouse and he's got some kind of products that he saves in there for clients, and he wants to be able to build an interface that scans and keeps track of the inventory, puts that in a system where the employees can view it, and also there's a front-facing side where customers can view it. So that's our first general app. Second is we're talking about a situation where a higher level businessman, say a CEO or a CTO or something, gets in touch with you because they've heard you're really good at something and they want you to work in their existing project in that specific niche. Now, they already have a developer team, so you'll be working with the developer team and scoping out a small chunk for yourself. For me, this would generally be a mapping project, but it could be something in your own niche or just to learn about the difference when it comes to working with an existing tech team. Number 3 is a common early freelancing type of website, which is just the general website for a small business or an artist or a friend or something like that. Somebody who has a little thing going on and they want to make a website that's nice, connects to their social media, looks good, reflects a little bit of branding, and that sort of thing. How do you tackle that? And the 4th one is a different type of example, which is about more bureaucratic systems. So say an academic or government related client where you're going to need to submit some kind of proposal and write up some information, give scope, timelines, budgets, technology choices, and then apply for this work in a very structured way. So that'll be our 4 examples. So what we'll be moving on to next is the phased approach. So I hope you'll join me in that video and we can learn a whole bunch together.